Do I believe that aliens exist? I think it's extraordinarily possible that they do. You could be looking at one right now.
27
27
questions.
questions.
27 weeks.
27
pedestrians.
pedestrians.
Oh, I do believe in aliens, and I'm not. Maybe they are like really crazy looking, but I think aliens are also just different life forms to ours. And also, if you've ever seen some of those fish in the ocean, like really far down, I think that's pretty much an alien. So
Yes, I live on the Central Coast. I see aliens every day. There's some creatures here. That is a definite. Aliens, yeah, 1,000,000%. We can't be the only things in the whole universe.
Okay, I believe that aliens are not in outer space, but under the ocean, like on the ocean floor. I believe that octopus as a species are aliens. I don't think people talk about that enough. And I'm passionate about this because I just think like octopus as a species, they can not only change the color of their skin to camouflage like chameleons can, but they can also change the texture of their skin. And like each of their tentacles has a mind of its own. Like it's been proven by science that they each have like cerebral activity in each one of its tentacles. I just think that there is an extraterrestrial life form. Like that is an alien, an octopus.
I think it'd be cool if something else was out there that isn't us, and I hope if there was, they'd be looking at us going, what have they done? Like they had all these great resources and all this good opportunity, and they're still fighting over the colour of your skin. Like, what's going on there?
I 100% believe that the government has squashed all of the different alien contacts. I mean, we as humans don't even like to believe that trans people exist, let alone aliens.
Yeah, I really want to. I really love all that kind of like cryptid kind of spooky stuff. I don't necessarily know if they'd be like us. Like, I kind of feel like if there's aliens, it's probably like a bacteria or like some little crab-like creature, you know? And I doubt they've come to Earth, but, you know, it'd be really cool if they had.
I think the world's too big for there to be not be some other kind of living species or some species out there, whether it's an alien that we know like on TV or whether it's, you know, an alien as like an organism or something like that.
Don't even get me started! Yes, I believe in aliens. Aliens are 100% true. Okay, first of all, let's define what an alien is. So a lot of people conceptualize aliens as like physical beings like us that live on other planets. And yes, absolutely, that is what an alien is. And I believe in those, of course. But I also think of aliens as beings from other dimensions that may or may not have physical bodies, or at least bodies that we recognize, like carbon-based bodies. So ghosts, for example, I consider to be aliens. I think that we are in a space that overlaps in different dimensions, and different dimensions sort of come in and out of our space. And because of that, we have a lot of interactions with other interdimensional beings. Maybe we don't know a lot about them, but yes, I 100% believe in aliens.
Without knowing the definition of aliens, I probably do believe that there's life somewhere out there in the solar system, given that it's like an infinite place. So, to think that we're the only life source in the solar system there probably is life out there.
I've heard a very, very good analogy a few years ago that if you took a cup and then you put it in the ocean and you lift it up and you said, oh, there's no whales in here, that's the equivalent of what we're trying to understand about the universe. So is there aliens? Of course there is. Of course there is.
Yes, I think I do believe in aliens. But yeah, I do not believe that we are the only universe, and I think there's definitely something else out there.
So many supernatural things happen, like spectacular lights, flying saucers. I don't even know if I believe in flying saucers, but I do believe in aliens. I think there's something out there.
I mean, it's a possibility. How are we to know? I've watched Doctor Who. I know that they can wear skin suits and shit. Even if they were here, how are we to know about it?
Yeah, I feel I would never want to experience aliens, because if they can master interstellar travel, they can probably look at us and say, there's all sorts of terrible things happening here that just shouldn't be happening. So I do believe there's life out there. I would never want to encounter the life out there.
There's so much we don't know about space.
and it is so big. Like I cannot wrap my brain around how big space is. And I've definitely been drawn in by like documentaries where it's like you want to believe, and I've seen a couple episodes of the X-Files. But also I just think with the kind of crazy stuff that happens on Earth, like I feel like humans just in general are a marvel. So of course there's going to be other forms of life out there on Earth, because just because we can only live here doesn't mean there might be like other life forms that can only live in one place, and that's why we haven't crossed paths. And I mean, there's definitely been like some dodgy photos, you know, of flying objects in the sky and crop circles, which I just think are massively awesome. So I reckon there's definitely aliens out there. I just don't think we can reach them yet, and I'm hoping that means that they can't reach us first, because I've seen Independence Day and I don't want them to have the upper hand.
I think it would be quite bland to assume that there would not something out there when we don't fully understand the extent and the depths of the universe. I mean, we've got a pretty good grasp of what's happening in our own, but yeah, and that's why I think movies like Interstellar go so large and rock so many people's minds, because it's like the what ifs, and it just adds more curiosity to people's minds.
I definitely prefer for there to be alien life out there. I don't like the idea that there's no one else, nothing else. That's scary.
Maybe there's like invisible looking like creatures that we can't see on our telescopes. Also, I feel like I'm an alien, so like Jamal's on Mars, maybe. But yeah, I just like there's no way that we're the only things on this whole planet. Like you're telling me you can't even find a creature like this big, and that would be an alien. But yeah, surely.
I think maybe people that consider that they don't exist, perhaps they're looking for ET or like the little green men from Futurama. But I think definitely like bacterial life forms, like plasmids, something in a, I don't know, like soupy world where there's water and oxygen. So I think for sure aliens 100% do exist. Maybe it's not in the way that we think they do.
I mean, it goes millions and millions of light years. Like, it stretches out so far. How can we think that we're the only intelligent creatures within our own universe? In fact, how can we think that we're the only intelligent people on our own planet, really, when you think about it?
I don't even know if with our eyes and invisible light, we would even be able to see them or notice them or communicate with them. They're probably so far away that by the time any communication got to us, we'd be long gone. But to say that there's absolutely nothing out there in the universe, no, I wouldn't say that. I would definitely say aliens are out there somewhere. I don't like the word aliens, because when I say alien, I imagine like the movies with the big like black eyes. Like, I'm not necessarily thinking that, but life form out there, definitely, yeah.
100% I believe in aliens. Anyone who doesn't believe in aliens, I don't know what you're going on about. The universe is so big, like strictly from a scientific, like logical standpoint, I feel there's definitely going to be other life forms. I don't think they look like probably what we've said they look like, but 100% aliens exist.
My partner and I are a bit of a sci-fi nerds, and I think he'd probably hate me to say anything other than yes. But the question for me really is whether or not we'll ever come in contact with aliens. I think aliens have existed. I think aliens will exist. It's just whether or not we will come in contact with them. There's this thing called the Fermi paradox, which suggests that, perhaps we're too far ahead or too behind other civilizations that could be alien to us. And we may not ever get the chance to meet them because of the distance in space.
I think when you say alien, I just immediately think like Hollywood movies. And honestly, I think I'm just so tired fighting reality that I just don't have the capacity to think about aliens. If they exist, that's cool, whatever. I don't really care. I hope they're nice. Like, that's my view.
I think they're probably out there. They're probably watching us and laughing at the chaos that's going on Earth right now. Because for all we know, they went through this 100 years ago and they're just seeing history repeat itself. So it's likely, yeah.
So I did see that Pedestrian had some articles about it a while ago. So if Pedestrian has its way, then yes. But for me personally, I'm not sure. Like, I've never had direct contact with aliens, so I'm going to sit on the not that I know of yet side, but it's a yet, like, who knows?